everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have 4 Dollar Tree DIYs all in a bee theme to show you. I had a really great time making these and racking my brains. They're super cute, super easy, and they use mostly Dollar Tree items. So let's get started and get this video going and make some fun DIYs. So we are going to start with this book stack. These were at the Dollar Tree during the Valentine's season, and I was so paranoid I wasn't going to have enough. I bought a whole case of them. So I've only used a few, and I definitely need to start crafting with these a little bit more. So I thought it would be really fun to do a summer bee book stack. And so I'm going to start by painting this book stack with black chalk paint from Dollar Tree. I love the Dollar Tree's black chalk paint. It's so nice. I really wish they'd get a white one too, but I do love the black, and it's nice and inexpensive, and it goes a long way. So you are going to cover this book stack in the black paint, and you're going to want to let it dry. I did 3 coats, I believe, just so I made sure it was really covered up. I've had some struggles with this DIY. It took me some time, and I had a lot of cuss words coming out of my mouth trying to figure out how to fix it, but it did come together in the end. So just continue to paint your stack black, let it dry in between, and like I said, I think I did 2 or 3 coats. I do use my heat dryer from Amazon. I will link that in the description box below. That has really come in handy and made it a lot faster to get some of my crafting done. So here it is after I've done all 3 coats, and it is completely dry, and I want to do some distressing on it with white. I just had this picture in my mind, and so I am going to dry brush that with a chip brush and some white chalk paint. And the way you do that is you put some paint on your brush and you dab it until there's hardly any left, and then you proceed to just brush over everything. I'm sure you've seen dry brushing in many DIY videos, but I just really wanted to kind of like tame down the black and just make it, I don't know, I just felt like that would match the bee theme a lot better. So I just continue to do this all over the book stack. If you are returning, thank you so much for your support. And if you are new, thank you for watching. And please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. I'd also love it if you would hit that like button. It lets YouTube notice me, and it will help my channel to grow. And I really, really do appreciate all the support. Also, feel free to comment below. I try to look at all of my comments and respond as quickly as I can. And I'd love to know, did you like it just the plain black, or did you like that the distressing was on there, or when I added the distressing? Some people would probably prefer it to be all one color, but this just kind of is more my theme and my thing. So that's why I did this. So this is where I come to realize that this is going to be very stressful for me. And I've had this happen every time I use the book stacks when I paint them, and I don't know what the trick is. So if YouTuber out there or somebody knows how to make that paint stick to this book stack without coming off if I'm using my Cricut, that would be great because I have really struggled with this. So I go ahead and I add the first letter, and what you really don't get to see is all the boo-boos I make. I do show you a little bit, but what happens is I'm putting down the letters onto the book stack. And as I lift up the tape, and no, it is not the strong grip tape, it's just the regular, it pulls the paint off of part of the book stack, meaning I have to fix that or start over again. So I decide that I am going to figure out a way to fix this because I don't want to waste the vinyl and I don't want to go back and reprint. So you will get to see how I came about fixing my boo-boo. So here it is, and what I do is I go ahead and I pull it off, and then I just put some black paint on a small brush and go in between where that paint had pulled away, and I let it dry and I do a couple of coats of it. This one was the easy word. B stayed on the best compared to the other ones I put on, and I don't really show you those, but I do want you to know that it was a severe struggle. So like I said, if anybody has any tips as to what I can do to make those go on there without pulling the paint off, that would be great. So this is what it looked like when it was all done. I did not want to show you the stress that I went through, but I do want to let you know that I Mod Podged over the top of it to ensure that these letters stick, and I did 2 coats of Mod Podge. And then now it's time just to decorate the book stack. So I found this ribbon at Easter time at, I believe, yes, it was at Walmart. And I just loved the black and white stripe. It reminded me kind of doing something with bees. And so I bought it and I loved it. So I'm going to use that ribbon around the book stack. And now I'm taking some fabrics that I have and I cut them into strips, and I am going to layer them, and you see that I kind of play around with it and try to figure out which way I want to layer it. And I think pretty soon I just put something in the middle and call it a day. So these are fabrics. I believe one fabric is from Michael's and the other fabric is from Walmart in the fat quarter section where you get a small panel of it. These always come in handy for me because I don't need a ton of any fabric, but I like to use them for messy bows, and so that's what I'm doing here. And then I have a piece of macrame cord. I get that off of Amazon. I can link that in the description box below. It comes in a huge spool, and I get so much use out of it. It's really worth the money because you get a lot of crafting from this one spool of cord. So I just tie that around, and what I like about the macrame cord is once you get it all tied, you can kind of separate all those strings and just kind of make it fluffy. And so that's what I did, and I'm going to continue messing with this bow until I'm ready to glue it onto the book stack. So I start by putting a line of hot glue on the bottom of the book stack or the box. And I am going to wrap it around, and I want it to connect underneath so that you don't really see it. So you will see that I wrap and glue. Now you do not have to do that. You can just glue once and then glue the other part, but I don't like my bows to slip. I like things to stay in place. So I tend to glue it all the way around on the corners just to make sure that that ribbon doesn't go anywhere. Really love that striped ribbon. It just, I don't know, it just makes such a nice look with what I'm trying to achieve. So now I'm taking that messy bow and I'm adding glue behind the bow, and then I stick it onto the book stack where I want it on top of that ribbon. And you'll see that I kind of mess around with it, and because I want to kind of fluff it out a little bit. So I'll put some glue underneath it and move things around. I don't really know how to explain it. I guess the best way is for you to watch it, but it just kind of makes it to where you can kind of see all the fabrics, and it just makes it a little bit fluffier. One thing that I do wish I had on hand is honey sticks. I think that's what they're called. Because that would have been really super cute to put across the top as well. I don't have any, but I want to order some. That is definitely one thing I don't have in my house, and I know that I can get those on Amazon. So I may be making some more bee projects and using those. But for right now, I had to go with what I had because, trust me, I have 2 rooms full of craft stuff. So I'm trying to go through it and use some of the stuff I have without purchasing more. That's why I decided to do the bees, because I had these large bees from another project and I wanted to use them. And what better time to do it than in the spring, summer decorating season. So anyway, that's what I did, and we'll continue on with this. It's almost done, and it's so super, super cute. Now I'm going to glue one of those bees. I got these bees. It was a bee and ladybug set, and I did get them on Amazon. I will link those in the description box below. I'm just about out of beads. I need to get myself some more, but I do really love these, and they just accent things so well. So I just glued that right in the middle of the bow, and I think we've almost completed the look. I think it's all so adorable. I love all the mismatched fabrics, but all the same colors. I don't know. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made. So it was one of the hardest things I made, even though it doesn't look like it. It was very frustrating, but I hope you guys like this as well as I do. So just when I thought I was finished, I thought, wouldn't it be cute with another bee on it? So I wasn't quite sure where to put it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it in the front where you can see it. And it just kind of brightened up the front of the book stack. These are so adorable. I love them so much. I definitely am getting more of these to craft with. So here it is completed, and it is so beautiful and just very, very seasonal. It's super, super fun. Now on to the next project. This is my rope beehive, and I got these plastic planters at the Dollar Tree. They come in a 4-pack for $1.25, so that's a smoking deal. And then this nautical rope is also from the Dollar Tree. It takes over one, so I had this scrap piece of nautical rope in my stash, so I'm going to start with that one before I open the new one. And basically what you want to do is have your glue gun ready, watch your fingers, be careful, and you're going to start at the rim or the base of that pot, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You're gonna kind of glue as you go around, and I do glue everything only because I don't want the rope to slip. So I kind of glue a little bit and then wrap and hold, and then glue, wrap and hold, and just keep doing that. So I don't know. It's really late at night here, guys, like super late. I should be in bed, but I have a second to do this. So anyway, we're just going to continue to glue and wrap the rope. And when I get to the end, I will explain to you what I did there. So with these first few rows of nautical rope, you can see that I'm adding the glue kind of on the nautical rope, not so much on the pot, just because that lip of the pot makes it hard, and we're trying to transition it from being on top of that to the regular size pot. So that's why I'm kind of gluing rope to rope instead of behind it. At this point, I've used up my rope, time to start a new piece, and all I do is start with that tape side. Some people remove the tape. I don't, because most of the time you don't even notice it in the project. But I'm gluing at the end of where I left off, and then I kind of put that hot glue down and I press it together so it kind of seals it together to look as if it's one piece of rope. So that's all I do, and then I just continue wrapping. Now, as I get to the top of the hive, you can see that I just put the glue in there. Be careful not to burn your fingers, and just wrap that rope all the way around until you get it completely into the circle. And then usually what I do is I use my fingernails. They're a great tool, trust me. But I do use my fingernails, but you can also use a paintbrush to hold it down as well. I'm using these shears that I got on Amazon. I can link those below. And that's the only thing I could get to cut through my rope because all of my scissors are dull. So that was all I had. But basically you're going to take the end of the rope and then just kind of tuck that in to make it look like it's all one piece. And a little bit of hot glue, a little bit of extra hot glue will help you achieve that. It's going to be covered anyway, but it's nice just to have it, you know, wrapped around securely. And here's where I use the paintbrush to really push that center in. So now I'm going to create a hanger or a loop from the top. I wanted to let you guys know that the reason I was inspired by, it's not the reason, I was inspired. The owner of our salon has a client that is also a crafter, and she's made some really cute crafts and given them to the owner. And one of them was one of these beehives. And when I saw it, it was so adorable. She did dress it up with sunflowers, and I'm going to use daisies, but it was so cute that I knew that I had to try to replicate it. And so I went to Dollar Tree. I knew I already had all of the nautical rope. And so I just was trying to find that perfect pot for it. And I don't know, I just really loved the inspiration from hers. So that's what I did. And I really love how mine turned out as well. Basically, you create that loop on top, you glue the two ends to the part that you want, hold it on there to make sure it's secure until it's dry. Now I'm taking the rope and I'm creating a circle to decorate. Put on the front of the hive. It's just kind of the opening to the hive. So I just cut a piece of rope into the size that I think I want. And I'm going to go ahead and glue it around the front of the hive. You just use some hot glue and kind of circle it around. It's really pretty simple and basic. But you'll see that I glue and then I just kind of circle it slowly until the two ends meet. So now I'm going to take that black chalk paint that I get from the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint the inside of that little circle that I just put on the front as the opening. And that just kind of really makes that part stand out nice. Now we're going to attach the bee to the beehive, and I am going to attach it on the circle that I created on the front where the two pieces meet up. Boy, I'm having to talk slow. Can you tell that it's time for me to go to bed? Anyway, so I just get some hot glue and I place that bee right over that little connecting section. You can create your own and put bees wherever you want. If you buy in different size bees, you can use those. Like I said, I just was down to my big ones, so I was trying to use them up. This is where I decorate the top of my hive, and I'm going to use some eucalyptus that I got from Walmart. Their floral is very, very pretty and very, very affordable. So I'm going to use that eucalyptus first, and I'm going to kind of just eye it and glue it around the hive the way that I think I want it to look. This is something that anybody can do, and you can use your own imagination and do whatever you want on the top, but this is just what I decided to do. So you can see that I'm sitting here cutting the eucalyptus and then kind of thinking at the same time, what can I do? So as I'm decorating the top of my beehive, I realized I forgot to use a flame to get some of those stringy things off of the rope. So I'm going to do that now and just avoid hitting those leaves. And I'm just going to go around and singe off any of the strings that I see going around the hive. Okay, now that I'm done singeing, I'm going to take some flowers and I'm going to glue them to the top where that loop is and where the eucalyptus is. So these 3 daisies I had left over in my stash, it's the end of my daisies, so I wanted to go ahead and just use this up. So I just cut them at the base kind of, leaving a little bit of stem to glue down in the center. So I do put some good amounts of glue in there because I really want to hold them in there, and then I just use some eucalyptus to cover that middle section up so that you don't see it. You could also use hot glue and make it look like honey. I've seen that with several DIYers on YouTube. Honey coming down the hive. I haven't done one of those yet, but I'm looking to do it. I really want to do it. I saw it on someone's video. I cannot remember whose it was. They used the glue gun from the dollar store plus the gold like glue sticks, and that looked really good too. So I might try and do one of those, but for now I just left it pretty plain and simple. Sometimes simple is best, and it really came together a lot nicer than I expected. I really thought it was adorable. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So here I'm trying to figure out if I want to add another bee to the hive, because I did one at work already, and I will actually post those at the end of the video that I had a couple bees on. But because these bees were so big and I'm trying to use them up, I thought, maybe one's best, because it's just simple, and simplicity sometimes attracts the eye a lot more than something that's got too much. But what are your thoughts? Would you put another bee on there, or would you have just left it the way it was? I just really thought that it was just cute, just being very simple. So that's how I left it. Now we're moving on to DIY number 3. This is a page from one of the Dollar Tree 2022 calendars, and I really liked it. And then this is a sign from Dollar Tree that I got at Valentine's Day. So I just think it's so cool that people came up with, I don't know why I never thought of using a calendar page as a picture, especially when the calendar page is so cute. I have seen many YouTubers do this. I think the very first time I saw it was a couple years ago with Crafts by Caitlin, and I thought, oh, that's genius, but I didn't have a calendar. So now I'm starting to really use these, and I'm really liking them. So this one turned out so cute. I can't wait for you to see it. So I removed the twine from the circle, and I put that aside because it was actually a really nice piece of twine. And then they have these horrible stickers on the back, and this is the side I want to use. So I do take my heat gun, which my cord is not close enough. I need an extension cord so that I can film that. But for now, I do take it and I heat up that sticker, and I still had a horrible time getting it off. But eventually I do get the sticker off, and we get going on this really cute sign. And now we have a fresh canvas, and I did kind of sand it down a little bit. I really need to get a new block. Mine is so worn out every time I'm at the Dollar Tree, and it's a lot. I forget to buy a new sander. Why is that? It's like I passed that section altogether. I don't know why, but I do. So anyway, my sander is very dull, but I am sanding this so that it's nice and smooth to put that calendar on. I was seeing if I could get the paper off of the front, but I could not do that. So I'm a lot like Unicorn Dust Design Sammy. I cannot leave the back unfinished. I just can't. It's not in my nature to leave it that way. I don't care if it's just for myself, or if I'm taking it to work to put on my station, or if I'm making it for somebody. I have to have the back finished. It's just my thing. So I will show you what I do with that later. But for right now, I'm taking my linen chalk paint by Rust-Oleum, and I don't do a super good coating of it. I just kind of want to do that because I'm trying to camouflage the numbers in the back of the calendar page. So just go ahead and give it one good coat of your chalk paint. I used white again because the pages are basically white. So I do that, let that dry, and then we can go ahead with the Mod Podge and getting that page on there. But I do have to trim it up and all that first before we do that, because it's definitely too big for this round circle. So now that it's dry, I'm going to Mod Podge this. I am not super good with Mod Podge. I mean, I make it work. I have yet to figure out how to get it to not bubble. I've used a lot less. I've done it in sections. I'm just not sure how to get it smooth. So most of the looks that I create have that bubbly look, which is fine because it's still cute. But if you have any suggestions out there, let me know. I see a lot of people using glue sticks, and I have tried that, and then I can never get it to stick. And then if I use hot glue, then I feel like it shows through the paper. So I'm really struggling in this department. So I would totally appreciate any tips you may have. So I am cutting this out to kind of fit the round, and as you can see, it kind of has like a wood backing, which I tried to make that blend with the rest of the sign, but I didn't get it perfect, but I still think it turned out adorable. So I just keep kind of cleaning it up until I see that it fits the round. And I didn't want it like perfectly round, so I was kind of trying to go around the things and curve it a little bit, just so that I could blend it better. But I do finally get it to the size I want, and then I go ahead and I start Mod Podging it in sections, because I have seen people do that, and it worked a little bit, but it still bubbled on me. So I get ready to do that as soon as I get this trimmed down to where I want it. I mean, you have to admit, look how cute this is. This calendar had so many cute pictures in it. I've actually used another one. I did not make a video. I think it was the strawberries. And I made like a really rustic tray out of a picture frame, but then I put too much paint on it, so now it looks really worn, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, I just played with it a little bit too much. But this one, I really love how it turned out. So here I'm applying a thin coat of Mod Podge to put that paper on in sections. I did find that a lot easier for me, but like I said, it still did not prevent any of the bubbling. So as you can see, I did that top section, and I just use my hands, and I'm not rubbing super hard. I'm rubbing really light and just rubbing over. I do have the roll tool for Mod Podge, but because I have 2 craft rooms going and my stuff is everywhere, I have to find it. I am trying to get things together, but I have to quit buying more stuff. So now I'm applying another section, rub it down the same way, and then the end the same way. And I do want to let that dry completely before I put a layer of Mod Podge over the top. So here it is. I have applied, I believe, 2 or 3 layers of Mod Podge, and I let it dry, like I said, completely in between. And when I'm letting it dry, I do kind of try to smooth out the bubbles a little bit. So it's not too bad. It actually turned out really cute. And I'm kind of taking my sand block and I'm sanding the edges just a little bit, just to get it to blend a little bit better before I do some dry brushing on it. But I didn't want to do too much sanding, so I just kind of went over it lightly, like I said, just to kind of make that line where I cut it less defined. And it didn't do great, but I did get it to blend a little bit better. So then I kind of wipe that dust off from the sanding, and I go ahead and I want to sand the edges to just make them look a little bit more worn. I don't have one of those little ladybug vacuum things. I guess I need to get one. I see all the YouTubers using it, and I usually end up taking my stuff and throwing it down on the floor and then sweeping it all up when I'm done because I'm on tile. But I do need to get one. So many YouTubers that do DIYs use that, so I definitely have to invest in a ladybug vacuum for my table. The things that I do use, I just use the Dollar Tree placemats as my underneath. I've seen some people use craft paper. I've seen some people have I don't know. Everybody has their own thing, and I'm a really messy crafter. So as you can see, I use my placemats to do my paint on and everything. I have no shame. I just keep buying new ones. But I have a few that are really have been used good. But I was just saying I really need one of those little vacuums because I do make quite the mess when I'm crafting. I really like how this turned out by doing the edges like that. And then this is where I think I kind of decide I want to dry brush some color on there to make that blend a little bit better with the calendar paper, or, that background on the calendar paper. So I am going to dry brush it with the Craft Smart or the chalk paint from the dollar store. It's the black one, or the Dollar Tree. I call it both. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm just kind of, as you can see, wiping off all that extra paint before I start dry brushing because I don't want it to be too thick in places. And then you just lightly take that brush. I know you guys have seen this if you watch other YouTubers, and just kind of brush it on there lightly. I do kind of brush it over the calendar paper as well, just so that it blends a little bit better. But it did turn out really good, and I was really pleased once I completed that. Now at this point, I take a paper towel. I didn't have any baby wipes on hand, but I'm going through it, and I'm just I got the paper towel a little bit wet, and I'm just kind of lightly going over it because I got a little too heavy-handed on the paper, and I didn't want it to be that way. So I just kind of lightly go over it and blend it in a little bit more. And at the end of it all, by the time I'm done being neurotic about my my paper, here I'm adding a little bit more white to it. I kind of go back and forth till I get the look that I'm looking for. So you use your own judgment on what you want it to look like. Everybody's looks different, but I do really like the way after I did all this that it turned out. Now it's time to do the ribbon, and this is where you get it to all tie together. And I am using this striped ribbon again that I got at Walmart during Easter season. It's just so cute with the bee theme. So that's going to be the base of my bow. And then again, I'm going to use the fabrics that I used in the past DIY that kind of just go with the bee theme. Now, I really enjoy making, I don't even know that you call them a bow, but like the messy bows, or what are those called that everybody's doing, where you don't even really fold anything, you just tie something in the center. I love those. Not only are they easy, but you can put so many different fabrics or ribbons in there, and it just really comes together nicely. As you can see here, I'm just grabbing different fabrics that I have. I have a lot of fabric that I had gotten on Amazon. I can link that in the description box below, but you can find some of your favorite patterns. These are from the Dollar Tree. They have really started coming out with some cute fabric. I am still on the lookout for the farm animals, and I'm still on the lookout for lemons. My dollar store does not have those yet, but I was going to use these two, and then I decided to use my fabric from Walmart because I really think it's so cute and it goes so well with the bee theme. And I absolutely love this fabric. I have used it for so many projects. It's so adorable. It's just black and white with bees and hives. I got this at Michael's. I think I paid $7.99, and I think it was a yard, but then I had 40% off. So I think I had I had 20% off, sorry. So I got 20% off of that. So I got a little bit of a deal on it. I have used it a lot, and it goes really, really cute. I just kind of stuck black and white with it, but this is how I do mine. I do a little tear in the fabric, and you have to kind of see where you're going. Is it with the grain or against the grain? Somebody can answer that for me, but you just put a little slit in the fabric and then you just start tearing. Some fabrics tear better than others. The bee one tears really, really good. So I just make a couple strips, cut them to the length I want them, and then I have to go and tear the other fabric from Walmart, and that fabric did not want to tear. So I kind of got messy with it, but in the end, it all worked out. So here's that fabric from Walmart. It's super cute. I love that it's black, white, and yellow. Again, that ties everything together. But like I said, it does not tear like the other one. I have to remove the stickers. I had a tough time with that, as you can see. So I just took that out. And then when I tore it, it did not tear evenly. It kind of like it was like started out as thick as I was tearing it, and then it got really thin. So I figure out a trick later with this, but I still dealt with it. As you can see, it's kind of, you can see how it goes from bigger to smaller, but I still use it, and in the long run, it still turns out super, super cute. So at this point, I have my fabrics cut out, and then at the last minute, I decide I'm going to add some cheesecloth to it because I really like that look. It gives it a little bit of a shabby vintage look, I guess. I don't know. I just really like the way it looks. So I cut 2 strips of the cheesecloth, and I pile that on with the other one, and then you will see that all I really do is kind of layer it to see how I like it, and then go from there. So it's really nothing that I do in particular. It's just all about how I'm liking it. So that's what I do. I start adding them together, and I do decide to tie this with cheesecloth, and it worked. But then in the end, didn't really like it. So then I add some macrame cord to it, but you'll see me do all that. And I just kind of play around and layer it until I get it the way I want it. So here I start pulling the fabric apart, kind of trying to fluff it like I did in my other DIY. And this is where I decide that I didn't really like that the cheesecloth tied it together, but I just keep messing around until I get it exactly the way that I like it. Here, I believe, is the part where I decide that I don't really like the cheesecloth. I'm crumpling and I'm doing everything I can, and the cheesecloth just isn't holding it tight enough for me in the center. So that's when I decide to add the macrame cord to it, which turned out to be super cute. And you will see that as soon as I'm done messing around with my bow. I'm going to start adding my embellishments to the bow. I have this little flower. It was a kid's headband. I use these headbands for my bunnies at Easter, and I got them on Amazon. They were super, super inexpensive, and the flowers on them are so cute. They look high quality, most of them anyway. So I wanted to use that flower because it just matched so well. I will link those in the description box below as well. They're definitely something cute to have on hand. And then I take out a bee, deciding if I want to put a bee on it or not. And I do decide to actually add it because it just adds a little cute touch to the piece itself. So now I'm going to add hot glue to the back of the bow. I just kind of put it in the center and put a good amount because I really like to squish my bow together with the hot glue. So put it on there, and then I forgot to tell you guys, as you could see, the hole was not centered with my picture. So make sure if you want to use your loop to hang your sign that you align it before you glue down your picture. I was looking at it and I'm going, really? Really, Michelle? Why is this hole over here and your picture's centered over here? I totally forgot to say that in the video. So yes, please, when you're Mod Podging or gluing down a photo or a picture, make sure it lines up with the hole if you're going to use it to hang and not just sit on a shelf. So that was my my flub of the day yesterday when I made this. I couldn't believe I did that. So anyway, I cut the headband off of this flower and I put some hot glue on it and I stick it straight in the center of my bow. And I'm one of those people that plays with the flower while the glue is still warm until I place it exactly where I want it. Yes, I am that person. I get very neurotic about things. And so I like them to look a certain way and how they're pictured in my head. So, I mean, I don't know. That's how I am when I do hair, and that's my full-time job. So I'm the same way. I picture something in my head, and if it doesn't come out that way, I look at it and I want to fix it until it looks exactly the way I want it to. So anyway, I mean, that's a good and a bad trait. So we'll go ahead and stick that flower in there, and then I just take the bee and I add some glue to the bee and I put him on top of the flower, and it really, really just dresses up that look. So now I take a piece of that macrame cord and I'm going to create a loop in the back. And like I said, you can see that the hole does not line up in the center. And I also want to cover this mess on the back because it's just not my thing to have that showing. So I have a piece of scrapbook paper. I believe that this comes from Hobby Lobby. I have it in a book of scrap paper. In fact, I think it's on my Hobby Lobby haul that I did. But I just took a piece of scrap paper out of that book and I'm just drawing the circle and I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. I'm not going to Mod Podge it. At least I don't think I Mod Podge it. I guess I'm going to have to see when I get to that point because, you know, that was yesterday and how would I remember what I did yesterday? Go figure. Anyway, I traced that out and then I cut it to put it on the back of the sign just to complete the sign. See, I told you I couldn't remember. Yes, I do Mod Podge it to the back. I don't do like an all over coat over the top of it or anything. I just put it underneath so that it sticks to the back of the sign. So I just apply a nice, it was a generous layer, but a thin layer kind of, because I know I'm not going to put any over the top. And again, I just kind of put it on there in sections and glue that down so that the back gets covered and I don't have to look at it and go, okay, this is a Dollar Tree sign. So again, that's just me. So as you can see, I have to add some more Mod Podge on the edges. It kind of just it dried it too fast. Obviously, I didn't put enough. It dried too fast before I could get all of the circle attached. So I do add some, I just kind of pull it up underneath to see where I need more. And I put it there. I do leave a little space at the top to put that piece of rope in there as a hanger because I want to cover it, and I kind of glued it too far up, so you'll see I kind of peel it back and then I have to re-glue it. But I do add a little bit of hot glue to the macrame cord, so that also helps keep the paper down as well. But I have to find the center because now I know the hole is not the center, and put that twine in there or cord so that I create a nice loop. And then I just go over that, like I said, with a little bit of hot glue and a little bit more Mod Podge, and I seal that down, and then you don't see where I connected the cord at. And here it is. Isn't she pretty? I really do love the way that this turned out. Everything flowed so well. The colors were perfect. The little bee bead or whatever it is perfect on there. I just think it's a really pretty piece, and it's really great to have up for spring and summer. And it could also be put in the middle of a wreath if the wreath is big enough. But I do love how it turned out. This was a really fun project. It took me a little longer than I expected it to, but it is gorgeous, and I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. And on to my fourth and final DIY. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree. I think I got 2 of them, but I can only find 1 right now. And right away I thought of a bee theme when I bought it. And so I went ahead and I removed that sticker the same way I did the last time. And I am going to sand that down because it was pretty sticky. And I am going to paint both sides of it. So it doesn't really matter which side I use because I do enough coats of paint that you don't really see anything underneath. I do believe that this is the side I end up going with, but I do cover the whole thing. So I just sand that down till it's nice and smooth so that I can put on my first layer of paint. So here I am painting it with Apple Barrel Sunny Day is the yellow that I had on hand. I did not have the right yellow, so you will see that I paint this on there and then I just feel like it's too yellow. It's just not the yellow that I'm looking for. So I have to get creative and mix some colors together. I guess being a hairdresser, sometimes I get a little bit of an advantage because I've been doing it so long I can kind of figure out which colors I want to mix together. And I'm not saying that this yellow is bad. It's just a little bright for the look I was going for. I wanted it to be a lot more subtle. So I paint this first layer on and then I decide, nah, I need to change the color. So here's where I decide to do that. I'm using my paper plate. Don't worry, that black on there is all dry. So I add a big squeeze of my Sunny Day because I do need quite a bit of paint. And then I add burnt umber, but I put it to the side so that I can mix it in slowly to get the color that I want. And then it ends up being a little bit too like too brown. So then I come in later with a little bit of orange, and you will see that to get the color that I wish to achieve. Because then, like I said, once I put this in, it was a little too brown. It was more muted like I was looking for, but I think I add a little bit more yellow, and then I add a little bit of orange to create the color. And if I could still get Waverly paint, I would, but our Walmarts here stopped selling it, and the kind that they have at their store is just not my favorite. So anyway, I just kind of play around till I get the color that I desire. Here you can see I already started adding coats of this paint, and I do have to let it dry in between, and I do use my heat dryer to do that because I was trying to get this video done, and by the time I was painting this one, it was almost 9 o'clock at night. So I had been painting and crafting all day. Working full-time, I don't get much time to get these videos out. So I had a day off and I used it wisely and got a full video out. So anyway, I'm just painting, and I think I end up doing 2 to 3 coats. I believe it's 3 coats on both sides, and then I just pick the side that I want to put my decal on. Now I want to dry brush it with some black, and I am using that the chalk paint from the dollar store again, and I'm just doing some dry brushing around what looks like the bee symbol, the stop sign symbol, the octagon. Is that what it is? Anyway, I just do some dry brushing around it, and I do the dry brushing on the front and back because this would be a really good piece for like a tiered tray or to set on a counter. And if someone picked it up, again, that's just me. I want the back to be completely done. So I do this on both sides, pick my favorite side before I put my decal on there. And as you can see, if I get it too dark, I do add more yellow to it, and I just kind of go back and forth till I get the desired look. But it did really turn out super cute. I love the color. I want to say it's like a Waverly Maze color, but I'm not quite sure. It's just me mixing colors. So just like I said, you always just kind of keep going and creating what you think is the look you're going for. So I used my Cricut and created, I did the lettering myself, picked the lettering, and I wanted to type out just bee. I had seen that saying on Pinterest, and so I wanted to use that. But then I wanted to incorporate a bee into it, and so I just found a bee image on my Cricut, my I don't know what that's, that's so sad. I don't even know what it's called, but it's the Cricut app. So I found this bee picture that I liked, and so I just cut everything out. And what was nice about the picture, the bee one, I didn't have to weed it at all. My problem came later when I tried to use, again, another transfer tape, and this time I don't think it was sticky enough, and so it wasn't pulling up the image. So you will see that I end up having to do it in 2 different sections. So I pulled up what I could with the one transfer tape, and then I went back to my Cricut transfer tape, which was not the stronghold, just the regular, and I end up putting the rest of the image on. But oh my goodness, I was so frustrated. Plus it was the end of the day, it was nighttime, I was ready for bed, and nothing was going right with this transfer tape. It took me forever to even get these letters off. It wouldn't even pick these up. So I don't know what brand it was. It was something I think I picked up either at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but I don't know. It was not being nice to me last night. So anyway, in the long run, I do end up using Cricut transfer tape after dealing with this mess for a while. And like I said, it is not the stronghold, but just the regular hold. And as you can see, I didn't have to do any weeding on this bee. I thought this was so super cute. And so that part was at least easy for me. That transfer tape I was talking about, again, it's good for some things, I'm sure, but it was not good for this project. So in the long run, I do end up using my Cricut transfer tape. And this is the easy and fun part, is just centering and putting. Do you like how I enunciated my words? I'm getting ready for work while I'm trying to do my voiceover. So I put it on there, and this is what just makes the whole project come together. Scrape it on there, pull it off. But in the end, love the way that this turned out. So again, I would like to thank you if you are returning and you have already subscribed to my page. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If there's any content you would like to see, please let me know in the comment section. I would really love to know if there's something that you just would like me to do. As you know, I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. I do cooking, not cleaning. That's my daughter's. I do cooking, baking, cake decorating, crafting, DIYing on a budget, Dollar Tree hauls, whatever shopping hauls I come across. I do those, Target, but it's definitely a fun channel. It's a little bit of everything. And so if you are not yet a subscriber, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell to be notified every time I download a video. And I would please love it if you would hit that like button so that YouTube recognizes that people are watching my channel and liking my content, and it will help my channel to grow. But again, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. And I'm not quite sure why my camera recorded this way. So I don't know if I turned it wrong. Like I said, it was the end of the night and I had things falling over. As you can see, I have a mess around my work area, but I apologize. Every angle seems to be different. And this does really turn out cute. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. So this is where I had all my trouble with the image not coming off on that transfer tape. I was beside myself. It took me forever to get it off. So I just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to go ahead and skip through it so you can just see what it looks like once it's on there. But again, this is where I really struggled getting this image to work, and I had to do it in 2 different pieces. But I didn't give up and I didn't throw it away. I just made it work. So sometimes it's just about making it work with the situation you're in. So it does end up coming out in the long run, but it was definitely a struggle. I sand the edges of this one as well, just to give it a little bit of a different look and kind of make it look more farmhousey, rustic. So I do sand those edges just a little bit, but for the most part, this project is done. And it really, really made me happy when I was all done. It made it worth it with me struggling with the Cricut transfer tape, but you will see how it turns out, and it just looks great and fabulous with all of these other bee decor items. And here it is. Isn't it adorable? I love, love, love it. Love how the color turned out. I just love everything about this piece. Like I said, it's good for a tiered tray or just to sit on a table. But these bee projects made me happy. I really just love the colors, and it does remind me of summer. So super, super stoked that it came out the way that I wanted. I was going to give you a picture of another beehive here at the end, but I couldn't find it and I had to get ready for work. So sorry about that. But you can join me on my Instagram page if you like. I can link that below as well. But here are all the bee items. I think they turned out gorgeous, and I'm very, very pleased, like I said, with each and every one of them. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Smile, be happy, no pun intended. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and God bless.